In 3 days, FTX went from being one of the biggest crypto exchanges in the space to almost going bankrupt to getting bought out by Binance. And then, to top it all off, Suzu tweets good morning. This is like the first time he has tweeted in, I think, almost a year. It's just crazy. I am like convinced that this has to be a simulation. Like, this has got to be the craziest last few days I have ever seen ever in the crypto space. We have a lot to cover in this video, guys, so grab yourself a drink, get yourself some popcorn, whatever you got to do, because this might be a little bit of a longer video, but let me tell you, it is a wild one. If you are just starting here and you are confused as to what has been going on with Binance and FTX and what caused this whole thing, I recommend you guys start. I made 2 videos ago, would have been the first video that I covered this on, and I feel like do a pretty decent job of covering it from beginning, and then now this is sort of like the midpoint. I would hardly say that this is the end, because there's still so much that we're going to have to find out coming soon. But it was just announced today, so today we had lots of crazy news about FTX halting withdrawals. There was billions. I think I saw a number of somewhere around $6 billion, and it has been withdrawn from FTX within the last 72 hours. And then FTX, Sam, everyone there went silent. Withdrawals stopped working about, it was about 12 hours ago. Everyone kind of got nervous, because that is never a good sign. We have seen what happens when exchange owners go quiet and then all of a sudden withdrawals stop working. So that was a big issue. Now, this is talking about the FTX platform, like the main platform, not FTX.US. So if you're confused, if you withdrew from FTX US and you're like, no, that was not the case. Again, we're talking about the main FTX platform, the offshore exchange, the big one. They're sort of like 2 separated entities, so it's not necessarily the same business. They're operated differently. Now, what is so wild about this? So again, we wake up, we see that FTX has halted withdrawals. We're expecting some really bad news to follow up. At the same time, FTT, the token, fell from, we just made a video yesterday, it was sitting at around $22. It fell all the way down to, we're hovering somewhere around $5 now. There was a liquidation of nearly 990 million FTT. That is an insane amount of FTT that got liquidated. I'm going to assume that that liquidation was Alameda. The reason I say that is because, like we discussed in those previous videos, Sam and his team and FTX was borrowing money against FTT by sending it to Alameda. Alameda then was taking out a stable coin loan against that FTT and sending FTX the cash, and then they were the ones basically holding the liability on their books. So I'm guessing that this is a margin call or a liquidation of Alameda's FTT position. I'm not positive on that, but again, that's the only people that I can think of that would be holding that amount of FTT, which is crazy wild to see. Following that event, Watcher Guru, which is a whale account that basically tells you what's going on, it's like a news update account, came out and said FTX CEO Sam Bankman-Fried's net worth has fallen from $14.6 billion. That was his net worth yesterday. In the past 24 hours, it fell down to $991 million. Yes, you heard that right. His net worth went from $14.6 billion to $991 million overnight. That is the craziest destruction of wealth I think I have ever seen in a 24-hour period. So everyone, of course, is like, what in the world is going on? Then, out of nowhere, we get a tweet from Sam, and this was like the mind-blowing piece of the whole thing. This is not at all what I saw coming. He says, "Hey all, I have a few announcements to make. Things have come full circle, and FTX.com's first and last investors are the same. We have come to an agreement on a strategic transaction with Binance for FTX.com. Yeah, you heard that right. Binance is buying FTX, or at least they submitted a letter of intent to purchase FTX, which is just like, literally overnight, FTX went from being one of the biggest exchanges to being almost bankrupt and getting bought out by Binance. This is not at all how I figured this would end. Definitely did not see this coming. His second point, he says, our teams are working on clearing out withdrawal backlog as is. Our teams are working on clearing out the withdrawal backlog as is. This will clear out liquidity crunches. All assets will be covered one-to-one. This is one of the main reasons we asked Binance to come in. They may take a bit to settle, etc. We apologize for that. But the important thing is that customers are protected. A huge thank you to CZ, Binance, and all of our supporters. This is a user-centric development that benefits the entire industry. CZ has done and will continue to do an incredible job of building out the global crypto ecosystem and creating a freer economic world. I know that there has been some rumors in the media of conflict between our two exchanges. However, Binance has shown time and time again that they are committed to a more decentralized global economy while working to improve industry relations with regulators. We are in the best of hands. Note that FTX.US and Binance.US are two separate companies not currently impacted by this. FTX US withdrawals are and have been live and is fully backed one-to-one operational normally. So that's what I was talking about earlier. FTX US is a different entity. They're separated from FTX, the main exchange. Then we get the thread from CZ to follow it up pretty quickly, and he says, this afternoon FTX asked for our help. There is a significant liquidity crunch to protect users. We signed a non-binding LOI, letter of intent, intending to fully acquire FTX.com and help cover the liquidity crunch. We will be conducting a full DD in the coming days. There is a lot to cover and will take some time. This is a highly dynamic situation and we are assessing the situation in real time. Binance has the discretion to pull out from the deal at any time. We expect FTT to be highly volatile in the coming days as things develop. Stay safe. And then to pour some salt in the wound, so this all happened this morning. Everyone was just like, what in the world is going on? Then we get a tweet from CZ, which kind of answers some questions that I raised in my previous videos, talking about how I thought that Binance was leveraging on BNB just like FTT was. Turns out I was wrong. That's not the case. CZ comes out and he says 2 big lessons. 1, never use a token you created as collateral. That's the piece, that the Luna piece. Remember in last video we were talking about how he tweeted out, we learned our lesson from Luna. That's what CZ said. It sounds like the lesson that he's talking about in that case, the reason he brought up Luna is because Luna was using its own token as collateral, a token it created as collateral. CZ says lesson number 1, never use your token as collateral. 2, don't borrow if you run a crypto business. Don't use capital efficiently, quote unquote. Have a large reserve. Binance has never used BNB for collateral, and we have never taken on debt. Stay safe. So, wow, I gotta say, first of all, CZ came out, he said that this whole thing was not planned, that he just said a little thing and then didn't expect, the reaction that we got in regards to FTT. I personally find that to be, I think it was intentional. This is my 2 cents. I don't know for sure. Maybe he is telling the truth 100%. But outside looking in, this looks very intentional. Now, to me, what I see is that CZ, who is clearly a businessman and understands business very well. He has survived a long time in the crypto space, and I don't think I've ever seen any issues with Binance's liquidity that's never come into question, knock on wood. But I think what he saw was an opportunity to teach Sam and FTX a lesson, an opportunity to capitalize and knock out a competitor, and that's exactly what he did here. And what I mean by that is I think he recognized the risks that lied with the way Sam and FTX were leveraging their FTT token. And I think maybe he learned this lesson through what happened with Luna, and he saw this as an opportunity. He said, you know what? we got paid out in basically what is this exchange's bloodline, or lifeline, right? FTT was FTX's lifeline. That's how they were getting a lot of the funding and liquidity that they had. That's what we're seeing now, right? The whole thing fell apart. All of a sudden, they ran out of money because they don't have, the money printer stopped printing. So I think, again, CZ recognized this. And he was like, what a great way I can spook the market, start selling a bunch of my FTT. Maybe they picked up a short along the way on it, probably. I'd imagine that they tried to trade this. Knocked out a competitor, were able to buy them back under their own terms because of how desperate FTX was. It looks like they're saying that they can back out of the deal at any time. I'm sure that the terms of the deal are very much in CZ and Binance's favor. And something that's also noteworthy is that they did not buy Alameda, which, as we discussed in previous videos, Alameda is who FTX was sending their FTT tokens to, who were then doing basically, I don't want to say the dirty work, but they were the ones that were leveraging that FTT token. So it wasn't held on FTX's books. It was held on Alameda's books. So this is a way for Binance is basically peeling off Alameda from this. This has a lot of venture capital firms worried because a lot of the investments that they did into FTX were ran through Alameda. So a lot of them are very worried that they're going to lose everything on the investments they made in FTX. These are some of the details that we're going to have to keep an eye on and watch in the future because we don't know any of these details yet. At least I haven't seen any resolution there or suggestion as to what's going to happen. This whole thing is just absolutely wild. Like I said, overnight, the tables had turned. And again, like FTT price gets wiped out. Sam's net worth basically wiped out. This is the dangers of leverage, guys. Leverage is so dangerous when you are talking about a volatile market like crypto, okay? When things can swing as much as they do in crypto, you don't want to be leveraged on an exchange, okay? Like whether you're a business or just a retail trader, it's seriously, this is a quick way to blow yourself up. And you really got to be careful with it because, like I said, when we see this volatility, I guarantee you 4 days ago, Sam didn't think he was going to be waking up 3 days later with not even 10% of his net worth and having to sell his exchange. Seriously, look how fast all of this happened. And these are insiders. These are people who are in the know in the crypto space, and they can't even react that fast enough to protect themselves against this sort of thing. So again, guys, just be very, very careful with leverage. Another thing to note here is, guys, do not let ego get in your way. What I mean by this is so many people I saw were calling everyone idiots and just dumb for taking their money off of FTX, that they are idiots for even thinking that FTX would go insolvent, and that they're going to leave their money there because they are not an idiot like you for pulling your money off. Guys, egos and investing do not go together, okay? You have to remove your ego from investing. This is a type of risk management that is literally basically free. You got to pay to withdraw or whatever the gas fee is, if maybe from FTX. I'm not sure how, what they charge to withdraw from FTX. But you're talking about paying a few bucks to take your money off of an exchange, self-custody it in your own wallet. There's literally no harm, no foul in this. Again, that is easy risk management to take your crypto off of the exchange when rumors like this start flying to protect yourself. Easy. We don't, the whole ego thing of keeping it on there for what? What are you trying to prove here? Again, it's just silly. So guys, definitely don't, recognize if that's happening to you. All of us kind of get maybe in an ego situation where we feel like we know the answer to something, but the fact of the matter is none of us know exactly what's going to happen. So easy things like this to protect your money, just do it, guys. Just to play the game, to be safer, seriously. So another wild thing that is worth noting is that a lot was withdrawn from Coinbase as well. There's been like a big panic about that because once the whole FTX news broke, a lot of people started pulling their money off of all the other exchanges and causing like a massive crypto bank run. Now, in this case, and I know this is going to sound hypocritical after I just said the whole ego thing, in this case, I don't think that Coinbase is going to go out of business. The reason I say that is because it is a U.S. crypto exchange. So just like FTX US, how they're like separated entities and they have different capital requirements and things like that, Coinbase has to obey all those capital requirements. They're also a publicly traded company, so we can see all their financials. They're filing their quarterly reports, so you can literally go and see their financials. They have a lot of assets and things to back the assets that they have on exchange. So yeah, while this will sting for Coinbase as well for a little bit, I would not anticipate Coinbase going out of business. Now again, going back to what I said, taking your money off of an exchange is a practically free way to protect your capital, self-custody it, and just play it on the safe end. But I just wanted to chime in my 2 cents on that because, again, that's something that I've seen circulating the space as well. So sorry if this video has been like a little jumbled. I feel like I'm jumping around a lot, but there's just like so much wild stuff going on. This is absolutely crazy. Like, I don't know what to think at this point. There's part of me that thinks this was all like a planned thing. There's part of me that thinks that CZ again saw an opportunity and seized it. I kind of get that tone from his tweets. And then you got Sam over there who's taking the high road on every ground. He's not even like at all trying to rebuttal CZ. So part of that, I'm sure, is like a sort of desperation move. Like, what is he going to say? He's losing his business, so this is like his only out is if CZ buys it. So yeah, lots of stuff going on in the crypto space. I will continue to watch this as the days, as things come in over the next few days, because I'm sure there will be lots and lots of news that breaks regarding this. We'll see if CZ and Binance actually follow through with the purchase, or if they're just trying to hold it for someone else to come in and offer to purchase. Maybe Coinbase will come in and try to purchase them. I'm not sure. Again, guys, moral of the story here, be careful of leverage, as CZ said, and look out for the projects that are leveraging against their own tokens, because as we see, that this is the second time that this is blown up in a big business's face. And we've seen this in the past. I mean, this has happened lots of times in the past as well. They're Ponzi-nomics, guys. So, like, these businesses are basically running a Ponzi, and then once the pin drops, that's it. Like, the whole thing ends. It explodes in a massive way, and that's exactly what we're seeing. What we saw with Luna, what we saw with 3AC, and now what we are seeing with FTX. So if this is your first time to the channel, guys, please like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.